Hello, beautiful people. This is your boy from St. George's TV once again. Now, we promise you that we'll always bring you the news as they hot, the way they say it in Nigeria local parlance. So now we are going to allow you to be part of what is going on. There are a lot of experts that are talking on myriad of issues right now that affects us directly as a people. Okay, because what is going on in Nigeria politically now are some things that at the end of the day may uh, reshape, the political destiny of this country, either for good or for bad. So I think it makes sense that every Nigerian pays attention to what is happening in the political landscape. The days of staying aloof are just being so indifferent. I think those days are gone. Yeah, I really do think so. So if this is your first time stopping by, I appreciate you so much. I want you to know that you guys are the reason why we are here, and we'll continue to give you the very best. Okay, so don't forget, we love you. We really do love you. Take care. Bye bye.
So, as rival politicians and their parties pursue their legal challenges against the presidential election in court, could Nigeria's disputed 2023 ballot be the political turning point in this country? Well, it depends on what happens, doesn't it? It remains to be seen what conclusions the tribunal will draw. It has several months to deliver its verdict, bearing in mind that litigating an election dispute can be a complex and enormously technical affair. So, as political attention shifts to the technicalities and the legalese of the court system, and the assessments from a legal standpoint start to pour in thick and fast, what hope is there for either side? Who will control the powerful legal algorithms, as it were, that will shape the outcome of these divisive and divided legal challenges? What will be the great common divisor that will tip the balance one way or the other? Well, for his much prized assessment, I'm joined now in the studio by the respected constitutional lawyer, human rights activist, and senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana. Very, very honored and delighted to have you.
Thank you very
and
much,
to see you. And as you continue to assess the outcomes of the presidential election, are you still questioning why the technology happened to fail only with the presidential election and not the National Assembly ballot, both of which were held on the same day? I'm wondering what questions and issues that raises for you.
Well, frankly speaking, I was flabbergasted, like many concerned Nigerians. But going by some of the reasons adduced by government sources, and I'm not sure whether INEC has put some of those positions forward. I think one of the ministries has stated, or rather a minister, that there was a lot of hacking of the server. So I'm sure when we get to the bridge, it will be crossed. If such an argument is put forward, again, it's going to be tested at the tribunal. So that's what I can say for now.
Yeah, I totally understand your reservations
yeah.
there. Yeah, I understand that. But you are, of course, a well-respected senior advocate of Nigeria in a country where a petition or legal challenge has never led to a presidential election result being overturned. Given the weight of evidence that needs to be submitted to satisfy the court, do you believe that the way things are today in this country, a presidential election can ever be overturned?
Charles, a lot depends on the evidence produced by the petitioners. But I'm not in any way pessimistic. Having regards to our history, with regards to election petitions, I can tell you that for me, it's extremely disturbing, and I've made the point repeatedly. We cannot continue to involve the judiciary in the election of the representatives of our people. We must put an end to it. And we have thought that with enough reforms of the electoral system, that by now we should be taking the courts out of the electoral system. I'm disturbed as a lawyer that Nigerians are now saying the elections have moved to the courts. That's not very complimentary. But as I did say, elsewhere, Nigeria has the highest number of pre-election cases in the world and the highest number of election petitions. It should be a matter of concern to all genuine forces of democracy and all stakeholders, whereas the Yar'Adua government in 2007 set up the Justice Owais Electoral Reform Panel to look at this problem, because the winner of the election did say publicly that the election that produced me was highly flawed, and therefore I'm going to put an end to this ugly development. And so the panel came up with profound recommendations on total independence of the INEC, conclusion of election petitions before the inauguration of a new government, the setting up of an electoral offences commission to deal with electoral offences and malfeasance, so that attorneys general will not terminate those cases by filing applications of non-liable prosecution. But what has happened is that successive governments have just ignored those fundamental recommendations. And that's why we are where we are. So, but I think a situation where we had about 1,800 pre-election cases, about 600 appeals in the Court of Appeal, about 120 appeals in the Supreme Court. It's not okay. It's not good for
it. It sounds quite unhealthy,
of course.
Really.
And now,
yeah, you've got a big one coming in.
Election petitions all over the place. In a way that all major cases, including cases that pertain to the liberty of those who are languishing in custody, will have to give way to election petitions, because they are time bound. They must be decided within 6 months. And if you have to go to the Supreme Court in the case of governorship election, additional 2 months. So it's not the best for the country.
But I guess on the positive side, I mean, if you're a lawyer or a senior advocate of Nigeria, you'll be smiling all the way to the bank, won't you? I mean, this is the period.
No, Charles, I stopped filing election petitions since 2015.
I'm not talking about you in particular.
Yeah, no, my colleagues are certainly smiling to the bank. But again, at the end of the day, it's not enough to simply smile to the banks. We're all challenged.
Yes, there's a more profound thing to be focused on there. But I mean, given the thesis you just put out at the moment, which is a very interesting and comprehensive one. I mean, now that we are where we are, in spite of the Uwais committee and all the rest of it, do you or don't you see this particular election, presidential election petition or petitions becoming a sort of locus classicus, as it's called in your legal circles, a first-time precedent-setting case?
No, we have had cases of this nature.
Yeah, but it's never quite got. I mean, it's never been decided in favor of someone who's making an application.
Yes,
against the result.
Yes, you know.
Yeah.
But again, I go back to the 2007 presidential election.
Well, it came close, but it didn't do it, did it?
But it was a 4-3, 4-3 justices of the Supreme Court. So it's a split judgment. It could have been either way.
Yeah.
So again, as I said earlier, it depends on the evidence produced. In a couple of African countries, presidential elections have been outlawed by the court. In Nigeria, a number of election petitions in the state have succeeded,
right,
in which sitting governors have been removed. So there shouldn't be any cause for,
So